When I walked in and they interviewed, they simply said, "What do you know?" I told them next to nothing. They said, "Perfect. That's what we want. We'll just train you." I used to always say, when things go wrong, it can be an opportunity. You prove to that dealer what you're made of. And like I said, you always own it. Just continue to go with that same mentality of it's all about the relationship.
Welcome to the Ride and Style Podcast, your turbocharged pit stop for automotive restyling. Buckle up with Jesse and Josh.
Welcome to another episode of the Ride and Style Podcast. Today we have a special guest, Brad Marion of Dealer Works. Brad, thank you very much for taking time to be with us.
Glad to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Sacramento in the house. I love it. I love it. So finally we got you on, Brad. I know,
Yep.
I know, not that you were dodging me, not at all. I'm not saying that at all, but you probably wanted to see how many of the other guys I would get in before you took your turn, right?
I just a little camera shy is all.
Oh, that's what it is. Camera shot. I'm calling Dina to see if that's true. So, listen, you've had your shop for a long time and you've been in the industry for a long time. Jesse's a big history buff. So take us back. How did you get into the business of cars and restyling? And then I know you eventually started your own business. How'd you even get in it?
Yeah, the very beginning. How did it all start?
You know, I had some sales jobs in high school and out of high school, clothing industry and some other things. And I was in between jobs and I was doing a lot of water skiing up here in Northern California. And I was picking up, shall we say, some refreshments before we went out to do that at a local liquor store. And I ran into a gal I went to high school with who worked at the local car stereo store, which was called Auburn Car Tubes. And just out of grins, anybody I ran into, I would always say, "Hey, do you need anybody?" And she said, "Our salesman is actually going off to college, and yeah, we're going to need somebody." I said, "I don't really know anything about car stereo. I mean, I think I've bought some grills for my car." That was probably my extent of my knowledge. She said, "Well, come on down and talk." And when I walked in and they interviewed, they simply said, "What do you know?" I told them next to nothing. They said, "Perfect. That's what we want. We'll just train you." It was owned by two brothers, both great guys. And I spent 3.5 years there. And then
What year was that roughly?
That was, my God, I got to go back a ways. Probably mid 80s.
Okay.
Let's see here, 94, 94, and then I was there 96. Yeah, so more like early 90s.
So was audio just like awesome back then in the 90s? I mean, everybody was getting something for their vehicle, right?
All we really sold was audio. I mean, alarm systems were like cutting edge and new.
Yeah.
Alarms were the only thing out there. We were an Alpine and a Clarion dealer, and I learned a lot. We know, selling, good, strong product was excellent. Learned about quality that way. But we had a local distributor who called on us regularly, trying to sell us products. And they took me aside and said, "Hey, we've got a position open up in sales. It's outside sales, calling on car dealerships as well as calling on retailers." And I felt it was time for a change. And I made that change, which was a big jump for me. And I was there. That was, a large distributorship here in Northern California by the name of the HG Bricks Company. I was there for over 8 years. I got up to general sales manager, running both the sales staff for retail as well as running the dealer division. And my heart has always really been in the dealer division. A lot of people look at car dealer work and it's tough and they're a hard customer, and they're the easiest customer out there. They recognize value and quality and the ability to make money faster than most people. So I always say the easiest person to sell to is a salesman. And so I'm out talking to this. Oh, let me jump back real quick. While I was working for the retailer for the 3.5 years, we did call on the 5 dealerships in that little town. Oh. And that was one of the attractions on why I got approached by this distributorship that had this dealer division, because they knew I was familiar with that. And over those 8 years, I built relationships with, hundreds of dealers. I saw salespeople on the line turn into sales managers down the road through the time, but it's in that 8 years. And then again, the time came along where it was what's in the future for me. And I elected to go out and hang my own shingle and start my own company, which was going to put me in direct competition with my previous employer. It was a hard fought battle, shall we say, did for years. But we just continued doing it. I had a very strong staff. Some people came with me. And again, we continue to maintain those strong relationships. Me on the sales side, I can't give enough credit to my dispatcher slash general manager at the time. I used to always say I'd go out and make all the promises on what we were going to do for these dealers, but this is the guy who delivered for us. If I said when it was going to get done and how it was going to get done, or if there was ever a problem, how quickly we were going to address it, he was my guy. He ran that business when I wasn't around as though it was his, and I give him lots of credit. His name is Kevin Silliman. He has since retired, but a great employee. So, and through the 31 years now I've been with DealerWorks, I just continue to go with that same mentality of it's all about the relationship. Always be there when they need you. Like I say, some car dealers have a bad rap. A lot of my guys, they recognize the quality. It's not always about price. It's about, a win-win. And I always preach that you can grind me on price all day long, but if it's not a win-win for both of us, it's not a win-win. And my interests could possibly wander to those that I have stronger relationships with. So, if it doesn't work for me, for you, what I'm offering, I understand. But most of them have always came around.
Yeah. Maybe you can just tell us, currently or over the years, what are some of the products that DealerWorks is kind of like, what's been your bread and butter for? What is it now versus what was it when you started?
Well, it was cassettes. We used to call them deck and twos. Did a lot of deck and twos. The security market had come about, but probably the biggest thing we did that we sold that was new to us was the CD changer.
Oh my God. You put a CD, the CD, the 6-disc.
The CD change, yeah, 10 disc, 6 disc, 12 disc. I was the changer king. Is what it was funny. They would come and talk to me, certain suppliers, and they just really wanted that business because, with an FM modulated CD changer, you throw it in anything, whether it's a high-end Mercedes or a Toyota or a Nissan, whatever it was, you could adapt it to anything. So we did a lot of that. Through the years, I've always, again, I try to preach, have an open mind, always kind of think about what that next thing's going to be, because whatever the thing you have is that you're killing it on today, it's going to phase out. And then there's got to be something new, another branch to grab when you let go of the last branch. And I've been very lucky that way. I've made some decent decisions, not without a lot of input from others in the industry. The Restyler United group has been awesome for us. I mean, I was reluctant to get into the film business, as you know, Josh. And at a couple of the meetings, I always like the presentation and the product, but good staff is tough to find and maintain in that particular category. But I jumped in, and the funny story is that I really liked my new rep. He was so good. I placed my opening order. I got my plotter. I got everything I needed via Lumar, and I didn't even have an installer. I figured that this was the easiest way for me to really force myself to commit. I had a payable on material that was sitting on the shelf, and I had a plotter that nobody knew how to run. And as it turned out, we found somebody that kind of got us in the business. So that was a real big one for us. Leather was the same way years before that. I would have never thought I was going to be doing leather interiors. Sunroofs is another category that we got into. But things change. We no longer do offer sunroofs at this time. We still do, from an electronic standpoint, it's probably the smaller category that we do. leather and the film tint and clear bra is those are probably our two strongest categories right now.
That's awesome. Go ahead, Jesse.
Yeah, what is your role now? You know, you are you getting close to wanting to retire, or are you retired, or are you gonna keep doing it for as long as you can, or what are your thoughts?
You know, my thoughts, you know, I've shared this with some of the guys in the group. Yeah, you know, studying harder and looking at what my options are from an exit plan. That's on my mind. And, you know, I'm getting to that age where I've worked a long time and I want to go out and enjoy the things in life. But again, the situation has to be right. I've got employees, I've got families that depend on the company. I haven't made a final decision on how I'm going to handle it yet, but they weigh heavily into what that decision is going to be when I do finally get there. I'm still out talking to car dealers. I do dabble somewhat in some of the purchasing. I have another office guy, one of my managers who does, I'm feeding him more and more of the ordering and getting him comfortable with that. But still what I do is I go out and I talk to the same guys I've been talking to for years. And you know, the beginning of every week is to go out and try to get those preloads, you know, load that week up and then, you know, do bill fills everything else in. So not a lot's changed for my role. I've always been very strong as being the owner is one thing, but sales has kind of been my role. Now, my wife, Deanne, who has been my office manager since day one, since inception, we've run this business together. A lot of people think that's a serious challenge to do, but we actually met at the previous job, and we kind of didn't know each other any other way other than working together. People are amazed that as much time as we put in together, that we haven't killed each other yet, you know? So, no, she's been a huge asset to the company. You know, from a trust standpoint, she touches every piece of paper that's out there, both, you know, for payables and receivables and everything else. She has to wear the HR hat as well, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, you got to definitely give her a shout out.
Oh yeah, she's the boss. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Come on. Whoever's in control of the money is the boss.
Absolutely.
Are you still having fun doing it? I mean, do you still what gets you excited, or what keeps you motivated? I mean, is it the customers? Is it the products? Is it the employees? I mean, what do you like about the business still? I mean, 31 years is a long time to have your own company.
It is, you know, and you'd think that you know, it gets to be 100 here in the Sacramento Valley. And yeah, do I like going out in August and walking a lot? No, but I'll do it. I still walk the lots. You know, when I walk in and I say, hey, you know, you sold this, and this, let's get something to replace it. I don't expect them to find them for me. I don't expect them to stage them for me. I go out and do it. And I still like that. I guess I like that interaction. And I get excited when I get them into a new product or a dealership that hasn't been maybe open to preloads, and finally get them to understand, you know, what we're doing for you is creating a price point in your trim levels that doesn't exist from the factory. I mean, when you can give them a vehicle in between a $50,000 vehicle or a $63,000 vehicle, and you can put products in that vehicle and say you can go to market at $55,000 and make $3,000 more. Some guys, you know, they look at you funny, like, how do you do that? I go, we're creating these price points for you. We're basically creating an aftermarket trim level that you're not aware of. And when they recognize that and you get them to do it and they sell a few and you stay on top of them, that's where the routine comes in.
I want to know, Brad, what are your biggest challenges in your career? Maybe some of the bigger hurdles you had to get over and how you got through them.
I got to say COVID on one thing, because we got through COVID and financial, everything was fine. We got through it. Business was off. You know, we had the assistance that was available to us as most businesses. And when I literally thought, okay, we're done with this. We're through this. No more masks. Let's get back to it. Let's hit it hard. And one of my largest Toyota stores who kept 1,000 cars on the ground, and was like, oh yeah, we're projecting we're going to have less than 100 cars for the next most of the months coming up. And I was like, well, wait, we're past all that. Well, the supply chains, they were depleted. And as you guys know, in the industry, I still feel it today. Again, probably my largest aggressive dealership, being a Toyota store, they have anywhere from 100 to 150 cars on the ground. Same one that had 1,000. And what that does is these cars rarely make it even off of the transport without a salesman running out there and putting his hand on the RAV4 or the Camry SE or whatever it might be and say, this one's sold, which that takes our opportunity down quite a bit. It diminishes our ability to get in there between, it getting on the lot and then going to, into purchase to let us do what we have to do. And that's one of my biggest challenges still is the inventory. To follow that up on other challenges, staffing has always been a challenge. Finding good people. We seem to keep good people. I've got employees currently right now. I have my general manager's been with me since day one. My office manager, obviously my wife, since day one. But I've got 10-year plus employees. They, when things get slow is when you get your challenges. You're keeping everybody busy, depending on the inventory issues. But it always seemed to work out. It would cross-train everybody. We've gotten more aggressive with fleet work. That's helped us out. Being in the Restyler United group and listening to everybody, one thing I've looked at, but I haven't really moved forward on is the upfitting. Everybody seems to be very aggressive with that, seems to be doing well. But right now I wouldn't have the manpower if something, came and hit us hard with that. So, but yeah, again, it's all about being that flexible and looking at what you can do.
So we have a lot of, owners, salespeople listen to the podcast, and I want to hear what advice would you give? Because you're very strong on the sales side when you come to running your business. So you get a salesperson in, and what would you tell them? Like their 1, 2, 3, 4 main objectives are. If you were to train a salesperson from day one to kind of do what you've done and be successful, what would they need? What would their attributes need to be, or what would their goals need to be, or what would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
Do the work. You got to do the work. With car dealers, they're lazy in that if you're not visible to them, you're not offering them something, you're not offering them something new, they look to you to help them be more profitable. And if you're not in there working that angle, that particular approach, it out of sight, out of mind becomes a huge thing. Look, I've been doing this a long time, and I did it for other companies. I hated call reports. I absolutely hate them. But sometimes that's the only way to know that your salespeople that are out in the field are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Because if you just try to phone it in, somebody else is going to be in that dealer's, at their sales desk talking to them. And if you're not in their mind, you want that sales manager, that general sales manager to say, hey, look, we use DealerWorks and they take care of us. And I always tell, if I've walked into a dealership that maybe is using brand X for whatever reason, and I say, are you happy? And they say, very. I'll say, you know what? I appreciate that. Loyalty is great. If something doesn't work out, we're always here. And then of course, don't stop going in. You keep going in. The day you go into that account, like, man, this guy gives me nothing. I keep going in to see him. I've had that happen. Taking a new salesperson in and I go, you know what? Let's go in here and get thrown out. Okay. Let's just go in and see what happens. We got nothing to lose. And we walk out with 3 leather installs, preloads. And I look at the salesperson like, that's why you go in and you keep going in every time. Because that's you got personnel that changes constantly. I mean, you might have a guy show up at a store you're doing nothing in who came from a store you did everything in. Yeah. But if you don't go in and know that, you're not going to be able to, take advantage of that or capitalize on that. So it's be in the dealership, make the sales call, be be available.
Persistence, right? Be available, persistence. Yeah. No, I like it. It's amazing how something can change so quick too at a dealership, good or bad for us. But
Correct. The same thing can happen.
if you're not
in reverse.
there, yeah, if you're not there,
Right. Or the one, and you should always try to maximize those relationships, even in your biggest dealerships, because if you concentrate on the one guy, we know the business. There's a lot of migration here. So if the guy that's pulling the trigger every time you go in to get something is not there, you're starting over again. So I always try to, when I go in and talk to the desk, I'm talking to everybody, making sure they always know who we are, what we're doing, whether the guy on the left over here doesn't like accessories and he's not selling them. I will talk as loud as I can in the sales office about the guy on this side of the room that does. And it's helped in the past. It just, again, it's the visibility, be visible.
So one other advice, what would you tell people when the shop just ultimately makes some kind of big time error or boo-boo? I'm not talking like a scratch on the fender. Let's say they put a leather in a sunroof car, a sunroof in a leather car, or they.
Oh, I've told you that story.
No, well, I mean, listen, no, you own a shop, so it's happened.
Yeah.
But let's say it's one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we did that. How do you handle it? What's some advice that you would tell the other shops out there?
Again, if you have these strong relationships, I know I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but when you have those and you walk in, because exactly what you just described did happen to us. 2 exact same trucks came in, one for a roof, one for leather. And my guy did not read the invoice properly. And he cut a big hole in a car that was supposed to get leather. And you own it, first off. You absolutely have to own what happened. And the thing is when you deal with an owner or a general manager, they don't even tend to get mad. They understand. They have that big thing attached to the sales department in the back, that service department.
Yeah.
They've been through probably more stuff than we have.
Yeah.
So when you call up and if you usually start with your service manager and then you get kicked up to the GM or the owner, whatever it might be. But again, if that relationship is strong, you want them to know that whatever it is, I'm fully insured. I can take care of it. I can replace whatever we did. And they know that. And after 30 plus years, it doesn't matter. If I did something so bad that it took that vehicle out of your inventory for whatever reason, either I would have bought it or we would just replace it or whatever it's going to be. That is very strong with the dealer when they know that about you. I used to always say, when things go wrong, it can be an opportunity. You prove to that dealer what you're made of. And like I said, you always own it. You never try to skirt it. You never try to blame it on anything else. You just say, this happened. We're going to take care of it. I apologize for the inconvenience. And they just if they see how you operate that way, it just solidifies the relationship. It makes it even stronger.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jess.
Yeah, I was curious if we could shift gears just a little bit and talk about either SEMA or the Restylers United group. Just your thoughts about the organizations and if there's value in that and being a part of those things.
Both organizations, absolutely. I'm going to start with Restylers United. I was lucky enough to be invited into it. Didn't know a lot of people in it.
When was that, by the way? When did you first? Yeah, when were you first invited, or when did you first join?
Gosh, when was that? That would have been. Was it San Antonio?
That's what came to my mind, is because that's the first time I met you, because you were in the shop in San Antonio.
Yeah, I think it was San Antonio, which would have been 8-9 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, 8 or 9 years ago, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody in there, you get voted in. They kind of see what you're all about. It's all about what can you contribute to the group. And I wouldn't be in the film business if I wasn't in this group. The beauty of this thing is that when we're together as a group, we're not a buying group per se, but it almost seems like factories and suppliers are more aggressive when they find out about us. They want us to act like a buying group, but we're not really a buying group. Would you say this? We do a great
Oh yeah.
job?
Yeah, no. We're more about sharing ideas and
Ideas, good
Yeah.
ideas and bad ideas. We I
helping.
mean, we throw it all out there, and I had a situation where we installed a sunroof on a vehicle, and the vehicle developed some squeaks. It was not good. This particular situation, we had resolution eventually. But I saw later on one of the posts, one of our members, same model vehicle. Hey, I haven't done one of these. I'm going to do a sunroof in it. What do you think? And I waved him off completely. I said, we put a roof in this vehicle and it worked perfect, but the vehicle squeaked, and we got blamed for it. And I'm hoping I think he did. He passed on that deal. These are the kinds of things that you learn what to avoid, what to do right as opposed to what to do wrong. And of course, everybody gets opened up to new product categories. All these things, it has been nothing but a positive for Restylers United. Look, I go to these meetings, and about halfway through them, I got to pinch myself because they're just such good meetings. The interaction is good. Everybody cares about each other. How to help? How can I help? Is the underlying tone is just, let's help each other any way we can. I really appreciate that. Leading to SEMA. Yeah, SEMA, I was a big consumer electronics guy for years and years and years, because that's where we had to go to see the new car stereo stuff. And SEMA was this, hey, yeah, they sell bumpers and running boards, things like that. Let me get rid of this. Excuse me. And what happened is SEMA grew into what it really should have been. It was automotive related. Are you still there?
Yeah, we got you.
Something happened here. I apologize. There we go. SEMA, as I say, developed into where I think that the manufacturers decided, we're doing CES and now we got to do this SEMA thing. And, I haven't been to CES in probably 6-7 years. It's just SEMA now because it's there. It's all there now. If it's 12 volt driven, we're there. We see everything new. We have an impromptu Restyler United meeting there. We all get together. But no, I still highly value what SEMA has to offer, definitely. And of course, SEMA Pro, again, which is a little more drills down to what we do, but it doesn't mean we don't walk that floor and we get to see new things and we share that in our meetings. We just talk about the opportunity. It's all about the opportunities that we have to keep our business growing, profitable, and staying viable to our core customers.
Yeah, no, it's so true. It's good to be part of something. It's easier to fight battles together and get advice and help each other. And
absolutely.
I mean, congrats to you, man. 30 plus years on owning a business. That's a milestone. That's great. Deanna's put up with you that long. That's a milestone. And but also, just the fact that you've been a great friend and a good mentor and helped me out, give me good advice. So I appreciate everything you've done and look to continue that for as long as you're wanting to do it. So appreciate you being on with us.
Yeah, I look forward to our next meeting.
Yeah.
I was unable to make the last one. I kind of had a lot going on, but I will be everything willing. I'll be at that next meeting.
Yeah, awesome. So Jesse always has one final question.
Yeah, Brad.
Okay.
So how do people learn more about you or your company? What website do you want them to go to, or how do people get a hold of you if they have questions?
Well, dealerworks.com, which, does all things for us, selling wise, and, the configurator and everything's on there. And then of course, a direct email that we get in, we get things, leads come through Tom, because we run our things through with the configurator and everything else there. So not being retail, our approach is a little different. we're in a very industrial area. We kind of had to try to pivot to more retail, but we didn't have a great success with that because I really hadn't approached that in the past. And so again, being in a commercial area, we just kind of stuck to our guns with the dealer profile of the mode we were in. And it's still there. We still do some retail, but it's pretty much all on a referral basis. But yeah, but we don't shy away from it. We just don't really, we don't advertise heavily. We don't do a lot of, Google ad stuff, that kind of thing. We're a lot of word of mouth.
Nice. Well, congrats again on the success, and I'm sure we will talk to you in Chicago in a few months.
We look forward to it. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for being on today.
Appreciate it, Brad.
No, thanks for having me.
All
All right. Take care, guys.
See you guys.
See ya.
And there you have it, another high-octane episode of the Ride and Style podcast, revved up and ready to go. Your hosts, Jesse Stoddard and Josh Poulson, shifted your automotive game into overdrive. If you're hungry for more insights, trends, and game-changing interviews from the automotive restyling universe, don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a glowing review. We'd also love for you to share this podcast with your gearheads, installers, and auto lovers network. Because remember, knowledge is power, but shared knowledge turbocharges the whole industry. For more expert resources to supercharge your business, cruise on over to autostylemarketing.com, your one-stop shop for everything automotive marketing. Until next time, keep those wheels spinning and your passion ignited. Thank you for riding in style with us. See you on the next lap.